So now we're going to have a conversation with Ojan from East Bay Permanent Real Estate Cooperative. And I am going to just introduce him to you quickly. So I mentioned he's the finance director and he's staff owner at East Bay Permanent Real Estate Cooperative, also for short, EBPREC. It's a democratic BIPOC-led cooperative that takes land and housing off the speculative market to create permanently affordable, community-controlled land and housing. A certified permaculture designer with a background in economics, sustainable land use, and real estate development, Ojan strives to bring the financial and strategic know-how to help visionary organizations build their capacity and long-term sustainability to support a just transition to a regenerative economy. Thanks so much, Ojan, for being with us.
Yeah, happy to be here. Sorry, it looks like oh, here we go. I can turn my video on. Hello, everybody.
So, Ojan, I've got a few questions for you. Tell us first, what is a permanent real estate cooperative?
Sure thing. So a permanent real estate cooperative is a new type of organization. EBPREC was actually the first permanent real estate cooperative. We've had a couple spin-off permanent real estate cooperatives start since we launched, and lots of people asking us, how do we do this? And the real answer is we're still figuring it out, which is a very exciting place to be in innovating new community ownership models. But basically, we are a cooperative corporation, and our purpose is to facilitate BIPOC community members to organize, finance, and acquire and steward properties together, taking them permanently off the speculative market and into community control, right? We're owned and run by our members, and we have 4 types of members, which include the residents who live in our properties, include local community members, include our staff, as well as investors who can purchase shares for $1,000 per share. And our goal is really to empower those frontline communities who have been historically disinvested from through municipal action, state action, private action, who've had their wealth stolen over and over again over the generations, for us to be able to democratize access to capital, right? So by investing, anyone even I was born and raised in San Francisco, and when I moved to Oakland, I felt like a gentrifier, right? So how could I contribute on a very small level? EBPREC provides an opportunity to actually invest instead of putting my money in Wells Fargo, right? Who's going to use it for displacement? You can invest in EBPREC and actually empower your neighbors to invest in their own permanently affordable housing and have control over their own future of their neighborhood and the way real estate forms the built environment in their neighborhood. So that's really the vision behind what we do. And with a membership of as little as $10 a year, our community members who might not have enough money to invest but want to show up and participate can have meaningful decision-making power in how we deploy capital into their communities. And yeah, that's why this model is so powerful and it really matters, is because it's democratizing access to capital and democratizing power and decision-making across people's neighborhoods.
Super, thank you. Can you share a story of a person or a family that's been changed through the work of EBPREC?
Absolutely. I'll tell you a little bit about our most recent acquisition back in December. Was brought to us by a community member named Princess. She's a second-generation Richmond resident, a Black woman with 2 kids, and she's lived with her family in Richmond for a long time. She actually was looking for somewhere to invest in herself to purchase with her family, and they went to their bank, and she wasn't able to qualify for a loan for this house that she found. So she brought that house to us, and was curious if we would be able to make it work. And she had already found a property that could work. The property happened to have some issues with it that made it a little bit complicated for a private investor, like an individual sort of home purchaser to buy. But EBPREC had the capacity to understand those issues, to talk to the city and figure out the permitting situation. So even though the property was already in contract, we were able to raise the capital, and to get in line basically. And when all the other buyers fell through because of the complications with the property, we were in like rising interest rates with the banks. We had our affordable capital on hand through our crowdfunding, and we had the capacity to move the project forward. So we were able to purchase that property in December. It took us about 2.5 months to fix up the property. And this was my favorite part because Princess and her family are like community organizers in Richmond. So they helped us organize 3 work days, and they brought their friends and family out, and we patched the drywall together. We fixed the plumbing. We got under the house and like, shored up some of the piers to make sure the floor was totally level, like these kinds of things that they wouldn't have been able to do on their own. And I also wouldn't have been able to do on my own, but because the community was involved and wanting to put their own sweat into the project, we were able to do it together, do the rehab substantially more affordably than if we just hired it out. And yeah, so she's been living there for, I think, 3 or 4 months now with her family and it's an intergenerational family. So there's grandkids, her and her brother and both of their spouses live there along with their mother and mother's partner. So, and it happens to be 9 houses down from one of their spouses' mothers as well. So like other grandmas right down the street. It's just fills me with a lot of joy to see the impact we've had to be able to turn them from perpetual renters into now building equity in their property with every month that they pay rent. There was no down payment involved, but every month they pay rent, they help us pay off the mortgage. They earn a portion of that equity as well.
Powerful. And what do you feel like it's important for our investors to know about the work of EB-Prec and why these investments matter?
Yeah, I think what's really sort of different about EB-Prec is that we are a cooperative, and cooperatives are not organized for like the person with the power to help the person with no power, right? As like a charity model. Cooperatives are organized for us to work together to make everybody's situation better. So it's really fundamentally a self-empowerment model more than a charity model. And that's something we remind ourselves every day, right? We're not here to like give houses to people. We're here to help people organize, raise the money, and finance and steward and acquire their own properties in partnership with us. So we're helping them, they're helping us. So that's what really makes me feel like EB-Prec is transformative as a self-empowerment, a self-help model, which follows a lot of the revolutionary movements of Oakland with the Black Panthers, really focusing on how can we support ourselves instead of relying solely on other people. And by investing in EB-Prec, you can participate in that self-empowerment, right? We're also making these more mission-aligned and values-aligned investment opportunities available across the board, right? Like I said, when I moved to Oakland, I didn't know, like, well, what could I do with my money to actually help, right? And we're also focusing on an ecosystem. So in addition to residential properties, we're doing commercial projects as well to make sure that there's space for whole cultural ecosystems of housing and jobs and cultural spaces available in the community for like permanent stewardship and affordability. I'll also, since I talked about our offering, I'll drop the link to our offering circular into the chat. Well, maybe I'll drop it in here, but I can only share with the host. So maybe someone else could share it so that I can keep complying with the SEC and share all the documents we need to.
Thanks, Ojan.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carrie.
Great. Thanks for being here.